That was an amazing lecture, and I've got a massive day ahead. Love going downstairs and finding parcel because I just think it's a good idea to just get a change of scenery. And I've basically done about an hour's work all day. And good morning from another week at medical school. It is 2 p.m. and that's not good. That's because this morning I forgot to set an alarm, and it is the first day back after, reading week and the start of case 4, and I missed my PBL session. That's because this week off, I've had that many DJ gigs just like through Thursday all the way through Sunday. I also had a friend that came up from London, my sister came up, so, we went out this weekend and, had some really late nights. And to be honest, this last week I've not really used it as much of a reading week. I have, of course, done some notes, but nowhere near as many as I should have done. With that being said, I haven't really done a huge amount since waking up. I have just been watching over some histology lectures that we had in case 2, going over some notes, and also uploading some video files for my travel channel. If you're not already subscribed to that and you want to see my travel content, make sure you click on that card up there, subscribe to that channel. I've just been uploading some videos for that channel, editing some of those whilst doing this, and to be honest, I'm just gonna get through this histology lecture first. Then I really want to go to the gym because I just don't feel great about myself. I've not been to the gym in a long time. This week's case number 4, is all about hearing and hearing loss, and that is, of course, a topic that is very close to my heart, considering I am deaf in one ear, and in my undergraduate degree I did a full dissertation on hearing loss and sensory neural hearing loss and spatial awareness, background noise, and how that's all impacted, and the developmental issues that arise from having only one ear, which are quite astonishing. I'm gonna go ahead and stick Forest on and get on with some revision. Alright, so I've quite literally just spent the last few hours just arranging this week's timetable, covering all of the case content, all of the lectures that I need to watch, all of the notes that I need to write from Ninja Nerd, and I've created a timetable from throughout this week into the next of things that I need to get done. Of course, it's easier said than done, and it looks quite simple now it's all laid out. Also, I've created my Notion page for this week's case, so it's just all nicely organized with the case information, the ILOs, the learning agenda questions, and also my checklist that I like to create. I have got a lecture right now at 5 p.m. and I do want to attend it because I just think it's a good idea to just get a change of scenery. And I haven't actually been attending any lectures just because I prefer to watch them after in my own time. But I just find hearing fascinating because I am deaf and I just want to go to that. So we're going to head to the lecture. Right, I'll see you after the lecture. That was actually an amazing lecture. It wasn't even a lecture, it was more of a Q&A with a deaf person that only spoke sign language. That was unbelievable. I'm gonna get back to the flat. Yeah, that was so good. To have that whole session as a Q&A with an actual fully deaf person that only spoke sign language was so interesting, as opposed to just having a lecture. I think it was because they couldn't get the computer working to actually deliver the presentation. But it was just really interesting to have a bit of diversity on the course in terms of the way that lectures are delivered. And I guess actually by having that, it's made me realise, damn, maybe I should actually attend all the lectures in person, because you never know what opportunity you could miss out on. And we got a lot of insight from this person who is also a nurse. So he's, completely deaf, he only speaks sign language, and he's a nurse. So we learned a lot from how this kind of translates into the clinical environment and how he treats people and how his experience was growing up as a deaf person. Interesting. But now I'm gonna work out because I've not done so in a while. And so that is it for Tuesday. I've done 3 hours of studying, just basically doing all of the external ear and the middle ear, and that was all just Ninja Nerd. Again, I hope to get way more done. 2 more lectures of Ninja Nerd, but I actually only got 1 done because life happened, didn't it? Anyway, it is 1 a.m, bedtime. Catch you on Wednesday. Very good morning. I need coffee. All right, it is nearly 1 o'clock and I've done actually only an hour's revision today building question banks on the inner ear anatomy and the cochlea and everything else. And that's because all morning I pretty much just spent it on Amazon doing loads of online shopping. I just bought like a new microphone arm, some lights. It's getting out of hand, but I'm addicted to it. I love going downstairs and finding parcels. That's just something that I enjoy doing. Weird. I'm gonna go swimming though with the Swim Society because I need some exercise. So we're gonna do that and then come back and do more work. And swimming was a lot of fun. Then I spent about 20 minutes in Tesco in the reduced section, making most of the discounts. We got loads of stuff from Yo Sushi. It's not really much of a discount because I spent a tenner on these 3 katsu curries, even though they were reduced. Look delicious, and I'm very hungry. Alright, so after having my lunch, I did watch some of the lecture from this week on One Med about living with deafness and just tying a few bits and pieces in together from an ENT surgeon. It's actually interesting to hear about how he's got a really good balance. Apparently as an ENT surgeon, a lot of the surgeries aren't as essential to do there and then, so he gets a really good balance. He's able to, you know, do most of his surgeries between 9 to 5, which means he gets a good sleep pattern, good work-life balance, pays good, and yeah, he just likes the diversity. So that was interesting. And then I've just spent the last hour finishing off one of the anatomies of the inner ear and the cochlea, and now I just want to get through another couple of Ninja Nerds just before the end of the day. Yeah, productive day, getting lots done. And so I've just spent the last few hours doing more notes from the Ninja Nerd series, just getting through some more anatomy because tomorrow I've got a really big day. I've got a dissecting room practical. Weirdly, I've got 2 dissecting room practicals this week. One tomorrow and one on Friday. Not sure what to expect because I've not really done any anatomy reading, which I should have done for tomorrow because tomorrow I've got a lot of anatomy. I've also got my anatomy tutorial and also my Phys Pharm session. As you can see, I'm reading through some of the Phys Pharm stuff, which involves us doing hearing tests such as an audiogram and also using the Weber's test, but we're going to be using vibrational tuning forks, and I'm not really going to be able to film much inside tomorrow because of course I can't film really in campus. But I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Good morning. It's Thursday and I've got a massive day ahead. 8:43 a.m. and I'm back to back basically until 6 p.m. and then at 6 p.m. I'm DJing until 11 p.m. Guys, that was so much fun, that Phys Pharm practical. We basically did all of the bedside tests that you need to know. We did the Weber's test with the tuning fork. So you put it on your forehead, you put it on the side of the ear basically, and just in front of it, just to test like conduction and sensory neural hearing loss and everything else. And then we did an audiology graph. I had that test done to me so many times because obviously I'm deaf in one ear. So just to be on the other end of it and actually performing the test was an amazing experience. But right now I am gonna do some studying because in an hour's time I've got an anatomy room dissection practical where we're looking inside the skull. So, and also using the otoscope, looking inside the ear canal to look at the tympanic membrane. So cool. I had that done to me so many times. My mum was obviously checking, make sure that there was no inflammation, any kind of infection, because being deaf, having that happen as well, it's more, you know, you've got to be really cautious of it. So really cool to be able to practice that. Time to do some anatomy. Let's get into it. All right, that is it. An hour's work done. Time to go and dissect some skulls. I think that's what we're doing. I'll speak to you in an hour. All right, that was the dissection room practical. I decided to come home just because I'm absolutely starving and I need to be back at uni for a tutorial in half an hour. So I decided to make some lunch, which was a microwavable spaghetti bolognese from the reduced section. But yeah, the dissection room practical was actually good today. It was a full hour where we had basically bony specimens of the neurocranium and the visceral cranium, so basically just the skull. We had some questions that we just had to identify certain areas of it. Really good session actually. It was a full hour just on one station. I always find those sessions really good with the iPads because if anything you don't know, you can just whiz it up on the iPad on Google and then just look at the specimen. And then at the end, I always aim to just grab the facilitator and just run through it all, like just have them as like just someone testing me. Spaghetti bolognese now, and then I'm just gonna watch a review video from one of my editors and then head back into university. And so it is like 5 p.m. After the anatomy tutorial, which was basically about the cochlea, the pharynx and the larynx. We did some of the anatomy. I came back, just did some cycling on the Apex bike just to kind of clear my head. Then I had a phone call with my editor for like half an hour, just figuring out what's what with reels going forward and the content for this channel and my other channel. But now I'm gonna do about an hour and a half of building more question banks and more notes on some anatomy, because tomorrow we've got another tutorial and another dissection room, 2 this week, which is a lot. And I've also got work tonight. DJing. Tiring, but we make it work. Also, I did some more online shopping and bought this microphone arm, which I absolutely love, from Rode. It just clears up the space down here because there was this stand and I didn't like it. And look at how cool that is. That is amazing. I just need a webcam now for the monitor. Baby, you set my soul on. You set my soul on fire. Good morning, it is the end of the week and I'm starting today with a anatomy tutorial, so I'm gonna get off. See you guys in an hour. And so I've got to where my lecture is, and I've never been here before. There's a Shonis building. See you in an hour. That is the end of the anatomy tutorial on the auditory system, the visual system, and now I need another coffee. And we're back here again, because of course, why wouldn't we be? It's time for coffee number 2. Okay, so the anatomy tutorial this morning was actually really good because this week's anatomy is humongous. We've got so much, and our demonstrator just basically told us all about the pathways, auditory and visual, which was really helpful. Can't lie, never known as much anatomy ever. We've literally had 2 dissections this week. I've got another this afternoon, and obviously 2 tutorials, which is double the amount as any other week that we've done throughout med school. And it's just because they clump together so much anatomy. We have to do all of the inner ear, but also the pharynx and larynx, and obviously all the laryngeal muscles and the cartilages is quite complex to get your head around with all the names and the attachment sites. And of course, we also had a dissection on all the cranial cavity, which was yesterday. So much anatomy this week. But I'm finding KenHub really helpful. It's a 30-minute video about the larynx, but I think the best way of understanding the larynx and the pharynx is the more times you read it and learn about it and watch from different sources, the more it kind of makes sense, because you start to visualize what the larynx actually looks like in your head, as opposed to just trying to remember different names. I think once you understand and visualize it in your head, then it makes a lot more sense. So I've had an incredibly unproductive day because it is now 5:20 and I've basically done about an hour's work all day. And that is because I got carried away doing some more online shopping, because I'm just trying to organize my desk, make it all pretty, make it all look very homely. Is it necessary? Probably not. And is it taking way longer than it needs to? Yes, it probably is, because I'm also, you know, I had a delivery of some clothes, sent them back, and Anyway, I've got a boba tea, milk tea, and I just finished my dissection room practical. Just got back from uni now, and I'm gonna make sure I do an hour and a half of studying. So that is the plan. Let's get into it. And there you guys have it. That is the end of another week at med school. It's now Saturday. And yesterday I finished up by, finishing off that work. The online shopping has actually arrived now. I've got my Hue lights, my microphone stand, and this Hue light behind my laptop. I think it looks really nice. It just kind of sets a nice tone for while I'm studying. And also last night I did some DJing. Again, typical. I'm just gonna insert some footage so you know what that looks like. But with that being said, that is where I'm gonna end the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new here, and also hit the bell notification button so you get notified for the weekly uploads and the week in my life videos and various other tips and tricks at med school. Also follow me on Instagram. And pretty much that is all I've got to say. There's some more videos here that you can check out. But with that being said, I'll see you in the next one.